Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving into a framework that is absolutely essential for navigating the crazy career landscape we're all in. And this isn't just theory. It's for you, it's for your clients, it's for your colleagues. It's really about how to find that just right spot when the ground beneath our feet just won't stop shifting.
So just to set the stage, let's start with a number. 300 million. That's Goldman Sachs' estimate for how many jobs are exposed to AI automation. And this isn't some far-off science fiction future. This is the world we're in right now, trying to build and advise on careers.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? That old promise, that old career contract, it's gone. It's broken. Disruption isn't the exception anymore. It's the new baseline. So for those of us in coaching or HR, this means the playbooks we've been using, we have to seriously rethink them.
Okay, so let's make this real. The whole framework we're talking about is grounded in a deeply personal story. We're going from that huge, kind of terrifying number to a very human journey through this exact new reality.
Just take a look at this timeline. We're talking 5 layoffs in 9 years. But what's really fascinating here is the emotional journey. See that first layoff? It led to a year-long spiral, total devastation. But fast forward to the 5th one, and the feeling is calm, even relief. What happened? Well, the repeated hits basically forced him to recognize the pattern. The time it took to recover, to get back on his feet, it shrank from a whole year down to just a few days. It's this incredible example of resilience, not as just being tough, but as getting smarter and more efficient at bouncing back.
And this is the light bulb moment. For years, he was trying to solve his career, like it was a math problem. But the huge insight was realizing that these things aren't problems you solve once and for all. They're ongoing tensions you have to manage, you have to navigate them. And that shift in thinking changes absolutely everything.
So that big insight led him to identify this core framework. He found 4 key polarities, these pairs of opposites that are totally interdependent, that just keep showing up again and again in work and in life. Let's break them down.
First up, confidence and humility. You know this dance. If you swing way too far into confidence, but you don't have the skills or the substance to back it up, you get arrogance, hubris. His big example? Getting kicked out of college. It was all show, no foundation. But then, if you swing too far the other way into total humility, you become invisible. You get overlooked, and you miss out. So the point isn't to pick one, it's to stay in that sweet spot between them.
Next, we have freedom and stability. The author tells his story about casing total freedom with a DJ business and racking up tens of thousands of dollars in debt. So sure, he had freedom, but with zero stability, the whole thing just collapsed. And the flip side is something we see all the time in the corporate world, the golden handcuffs. You've got the stability, the great salary, but you're burning out and you feel like you're losing the plot on who you actually are.
Then there's work and rest. Oh man, this one is everywhere. He talks about working 60-hour weeks, waking up at 4:30 in the morning, and telling himself, this is just hustle, this is dedication. But really, it was a total rejection of rest, and it led him straight into burnout, and eventually getting fired. And finally, there's self and others. This is that constant push and pull, right? Between taking care of our own needs, listening to our own gut, and then also showing up for our families, our teams, our bosses. He realized that he kept ignoring his own instincts to please other people, and that's how he ended up in a job with giant red flags he should have seen from a mile away.
Okay, so keeping those 4 tensions in mind, let's talk about a really popular career model. It's one that many of us, as coaches and professionals, have probably even promoted as the ultimate goal. But maybe it's not.
You've heard of the hedgehog concept, right? That idea that your perfect job is right at the center of that Venn diagram of what you love, what you're good at, and what you can get paid for. It sounds amazing. But what if that beautiful idea is actually a trap? Because the number one danger of chasing that one, single, perfect job is something called identity fusion. And for anyone in HR or coaching, this term is so important. It's that moment when a person's entire sense of self gets tangled up with their job title. It's the difference between saying, I work as a VP of marketing and I am a VP of marketing. And this just lays out so clearly why that's a huge risk. When you find that perfect job and you fuse your identity to it, you are putting yourself in a very fragile position. Because when that job gets disrupted, and we already know that disruption is the new normal, it doesn't just feel like you lost a job. It feels like you lost yourself. Your whole identity collapses with it. It turns a manageable challenge into a full-blown existential crisis. So if the perfect job idea is a trap, what's the alternative? Well, the material offers a different way to think about it, a much more resilient model. This right here is the big idea. This is the takeaway. Instead of trying to get everything from one place, you make a conscious choice to separate your economic engine, the thing you do for money, from the things that give you a sense of meaning and identity. Right away, you've built a firewall against disruption.
And this is such a great practical tool you can use, either for yourself or for your clients. A career setup is only really sustainable if you can answer yes to these 3 questions. Number 1, can you accept your money job for what it is without tying your whole identity to it? 2, do you have something else, something outside of work that gives you meaning? And 3, let's be realistic. Do your life conditions, your money, your health, your family actually support this kind of setup?
This slide just puts it all together so perfectly. On the left, you have the hedgehog model. As a corporate VP, his identity and meaning were totally wrapped up in the job, so every layoff felt like a personal attack, an existential threat. Now look at the right, the portfolio model. His retail job is the economic engine. That's it. His identity, his meaning, that's tied to his writing. So now a layoff is just an inconvenience. It's manageable, not catastrophic. See the difference?
Now, this whole thing isn't about finding some magic bullet, some final answer. It's really about building a practice of checking in with yourself honestly and regularly.
I just love this. It's based on that Japanese art of kintsugi, where they repair broken pottery with gold. The author is so candid about his own imperfections. He admits he's writing a book about building solid foundations while he's still a smoker. And the point isn't to be perfect. The point is to see those cracks not as failures, but as proof that you're still in the game, still doing the work.
And for us as professionals, these caveats are absolutely crucial. He's very upfront that, look, this portfolio approach is a lot easier if you have some financial privilege and a safety net. He also makes it clear that just because you recognize your patterns doesn't mean you'll never face those challenges again. It just means you get better and faster at dealing with them. That level of honesty, to me, adds a ton of credibility.
And this is really the ultimate message. We have to let go of the idea of perfection. The number 1 skill in a modern career is adaptability. The real goal isn't to find a just right that's going to last forever. It's to get better and quicker at adjusting your sails when the winds inevitably change.
So, I'll leave you with the same question that the book leaves us with. And I mean, really think about it for a second. Would losing your current job feel like losing yourself? Your answer to that question might tell you a lot about how fused your identity is to your work and whether maybe, just maybe, a portfolio approach could be a more resilient path forward. Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.